back to my channel. My name is Emma. If this is your first time here, welcome. I seriously appreciate you being here, and today I wanted to talk about my vegan story, my experience, my journey, the good, the bad, the weird experiences that I've had. It's not going to be as much of an informational video as it is just me talking about my journey. So maybe you can relate to it or learn from it. And with that being said, let's get into it. I have it all in my notebook. Not all of it. By the way, if you're wondering why my room is so bare, it's because I'm moving in 3 days. And I don't know if you can see him back there, but that's my puppy Nigel. He's the best. My nails are laying down. Okay, so I grew up eating meat, and my whole family did. We were big meat eaters. Most of our meals were either like pizza or chicken and beans and rice or something like that. Everything was based around meat, and if we weren't eating that, we were probably out at an Italian restaurant getting like a calzone or like another huge pizza or like going to Dairy Queen and getting chicken strips. So it was all about meat for us, and I had never really even considered not eating meat. Like, it wasn't a thought that I ever even had. And growing up, I was not connected to animals. So my sister was super compassionate, and like she would cry for animals, and she would watch like these videotapes of, we used to have like some safari animal informational videotapes. I don't really know what they were, but we had them at our house when we were younger, and she would always want to watch them, and I was like, that's the most boring thing I've ever heard. Like, I'm gonna go throw the baseball. I had also never known any vegans or vegetarians that I can remember, so it was never really around me. And I grew up in a county where there was lots of hunting, and it was like, it was not progressive, we'll just say that. So I really had no experience with veganism. I didn't even know what it was. I will say, I do remember, I don't know if it was my dad, or Dad, if you're watching this, what's up? I don't know if it was my dad or like at a Thanksgiving, or I saw it on the news or something, but at some point I remember hearing about vegans because it was PETA, and they were protesting or doing something crazy, and from that point on, I was probably 13, but from that point on, I thought of vegans as like, you know, when you see those religious groups going up and like holding crazy signs, like, I put veganism with those people. So this may sound like it's off topic, but it all comes back together. So when I was growing up, I was really muscular, super athletic, and like there was never a time when I didn't. Like, I was born with a six-pack, okay? And growing up, all of my friends were super thin, and so I was always really insecure about my muscles and my body. So now let's fast forward to high school. My senior year, I started getting into my hippie phase, and like the more research I did, the more spiritual information I found, and I started getting into spirituality. And I think I read somewhere that veganism can help the spiritual journey. And there are different reasons for that, and I will explain one crazy experience that I had that kind of coincides with that. So in high school, I stopped playing volleyball my senior year, so like I was still eating like a champ, but I wasn't being active or anything. So now I had gained this weight, and I really wanted to lose it, but I had always wanted to lose weight, and I didn't think that I could. So I was like, I don't know what else to do but to restrict. Like, to lose weight, you obviously have to restrict your calories and like barely eat anything. Like, skinny people must just not eat. Well, obviously I did not know how to lose weight the healthy way. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. I didn't ask anyone for help. And I probably like searched on Google, and the first thing it said was restrict your calories or reduce your caloric intake, which if you're watching this right now, don't do that. That is not the way. So anyway, I thought that going vegan would help me lose weight because I had seen that online, like people saying that veganism is one way to lose weight, like eat more veggies, eat less meat and dairy. So that's what I did. I went vegan, but really what it was I was restricting, and it was all a diet for me. It really had nothing to do with the animals. It was all a diet. I wasn't doing it right. I wasn't doing it the healthy way, and I really just had a horrible relationship with food at that point. And I actually developed an eating disorder that I'm free from now, but really quickly I developed an eating disorder because I was restricting so much. Veganism at that point was really just sort of like something to hide behind for my restrictive behavior. And I think that that's a lot of the reason why people think that veganism is so restrictive, is because people abuse it and they actually have an eating disorder, but they're calling it vegan because people notice that they lost all this weight, and then they're like, oh yeah, it's just because I went vegan and it's all healthy. Well, for me, that was not the case. It was not healthy at all. So then about 2 years later, or 2.5 years later, I claimed freedom from an eating disorder, and at that point I was like, I'm gonna eat meat now, because I saw my vegan journey as really unhealthy. But then about 6 months later, I started getting into YouTube, and I found people like Ellen Fisher and Claire Michelle and Bonnie Rebecca and Tess Begg, people like that. So I don't remember which one it was, but I heard somebody talking about the YouTube video called The Best Speech You'll Ever Hear by Gary Yourofsky, and I watched that video. And y'all, that broke me down. For the first time in my life, I made the ethical connection to the animals. These animals are beings with souls and spirits, and when we're kids, we love them and we hug them and we play with them, and we're so connected to them. I mean, I wasn't, but a lot of kids are. And I realized, like, whoa, we've been indoctrinated to believe that they're meant for us to eat. There was like a solid 2-month grieving period after I watched that video. Like, I cried for about 2 weeks straight, and then I went through this period of like, I was so angry at everyone for not realizing what they were doing, and really what that was me expressing it that way, but I was angry at myself, and I felt so guilty for all of the ways that I had contributed to death. So after I was angry for a while, then I was like, okay, I can have compassion on all of the people who don't know yet, because they just don't know. And that kind of lit a fire under my butt, and like, that's really when my passion for veganism began. And that same night, after I watched The Best Speech You'll Ever Hear, I watched Cowspiracy, and those two on top of each other, I don't even know if I would recommend it, but I do, because you should know what you're contributing to if you don't. I think the animals at least deserve that. I was so shook. I was bawling my eyes out, and I have never cried for an animal before until then. So that night is when I declared that I will never eat meat again, because it's not meat, it's animals. I will never eat another animal again. Now I'm here. Like, when was that? 2 years ago? A year and a half ago? I don't know. It was a bit ago. And like I said, the first time I went vegan, it was super unhealthy. It was just a diet. I didn't care about the animals or the planet or anything except myself. And now it's like, the animals are the biggest reason that I'm vegan, but there's also the environmental impact that eating animals has, negative impact, the spiritual impact, the mental health, you know, like all of it for me. So now I want to tell you about some of the benefits and like some of the experiences that I've had as a vegan, because I freaking love being vegan. It's so fun, and I just feel like I've developed as a person in so many ways since I went vegan. So probably the first thing that I want to talk about is my level of compassion, because after I made the ethical connection with the animals, I feel like my compassion bar went from like here to here, or like here. And now I can apply that to myself and to other people, and I'm so much more compassionate. Something else huge is that when I saw past this indoctrination and realized that we had all been brainwashed to eat animals through advertising in the meat and dairy industry, I was able to start researching and being really open-minded to other societal indoctrinations that we have been led to believe are the best way for our society. There are so many ploys to make money that are hurting other beings or people, like Big Pharma, for example, just to name one. But I've been able to see through so many things. And I feel like my intellectual growth has skyrocketed since I had this awakening. Also, my mental health since going vegan has been so much better, and I want to make a distinction because there have been times when I've been a junk food vegan, and there have been times when I've been like a healthy, plant-based, alkaline diet vegan. My mental health, even within those two ranges as a vegan, are very different. So I'm gonna leave the junk food vegan to the side because my mental health is not very great when I'm like eating a bunch of junk food. But when I'm eating a plant-based, alkaline vegan diet, I feel so good and so happy and so positive. My mental health is like, yes, I'm doing something right. I have energy and I'm full of joy. I just feel good and light and free. And since I've gone vegan, my spirituality has blossomed so beautifully, and I have learned so much, and I feel like I'm awakening every day, if that makes any sense. I think one reason why a lot of people say this when they go vegan, that they have this like new spiritual awareness after like over time. I think it's because meat and dairy are so acidic that it calcifies your pineal gland, which if you don't know what that is, you might know the term third eye, but it's basically this gland in your brain that is responsible for like dream production and stuff like that. I think that as I've been eating less meat and dairy, or no meat and dairy, my pineal gland has been decalcifying. There are other things that can calcify our pineal gland, like fluoride for instance, but which is in tap water, so if you're still drinking that, cut it out. I think that because when you go vegan, your pineal gland starts to decalcify, you naturally become more spiritual, and you can, like, I'll just leave it at that. I had already not been eating meat and dairy for a while, but I cut out fluoride and I decided to cut out sugar and caffeine, so like chocolate and stuff, for about 4 weeks. I cut it out, and about 2 weeks into that time, I was driving one day and I felt this like pulse right here, and it like kind of freaked me out, and it happened again, and for about 2 weeks straight until I started eating sugar again, I kept getting this pulse right here, and it wasn't like a headache, it wasn't painful, it was just this sensation right here, which is the third eye area. So if my dad's watching this, he's gonna think I'm a demon, but I'm not possessed. I just think that that was my pineal gland decalcifying. But I called my sister and I was just like, I don't know what's happening, but... So anyway, that's just kind of one weird experience that I've had. That's kind of been my journey so far. That's where I am now. And going vegan, I learned to actually start cooking that way and to get really creative in the kitchen and to make it fun, and finding new vegan foods and Whole Foods and Trader Joe's. Like, it's so fun. And on Thrive Market, they have a lot of vegan options, so it's just really fun. It's like a whole new world. So the last thing that I want to say, I didn't touch much on like environmental impact and like actual physical health impact, but maybe I'll save those for another video because they're more informational. But the last thing that I want to say as far as my journey is that I am not here to judge anyone. And I think that people think that vegans are really judgmental, but in my experience, it has almost been the other way around. And I think it just depends on the person, honestly. I am not a judgmental person. If you know me, I think that you'll know I'm very open-minded, and my whole goal in life is to spread compassion and love. If you don't eat meat, I'm not judging you. I wish that you didn't, but I'm not judging you. I still love you, and I'm here to help you if you want to be helped, and I'm here to spread awareness so that you can make an empowered choice. With that being said, I think that's everything that I want to cover in this video. If you have any questions, I am here for you. I want to talk to you, I want to connect. If you are vegan, share your vegan story with me. Like, how did you go vegan? Have you seen the videos that I mentioned in here? By the way, while we're on the topic, go watch What the Health if you haven't. That's all about the health aspects of veganism. And I will link below some of the other documentaries that I've watched that have been really powerful for me. That's all that I want to say. I hope my camera's still on. Thank you so much for being here. If you like this video, like it, give it a like. If you want to see more consciousness-based videos, subscribe because they're coming. If you didn't like this video, dislike it and let me know why. Go follow me on Instagram. I'm a captions girl, so I'm all about spreading awareness and talking about consciousness-based stuff through my captions. I write long captions, so if you're trying to get woke, go follow me. Let me know what you want to see, what you want to know. And with that being said, I will see you in my next video. Bye.